Hey, Dr. Ray here, founder of the Learning Liaisons, and welcome. Welcome to our Wednesday evening math sessions featuring our math specialist and your math specialist, Amy Sink. In the next hour, Amy has put together a sample set of approximately 10 practice questions that run the gamut from kindergarten levels all the way through 12th grade high school math. Now, I know you are attending here, watching this, and you're like, well, I'm doing elementary in Texas, or I'm doing elementary in Praxis, or I'm doing high school math in Florida, or middle school math in Texas. And what's going on here, right? So we're doing these sessions to help you guys out and provide you with different ways to look at problems and to build that confidence. Because here at the Learning Liaisons, one of our major objectives is to clear up the testing confusion, give you the support you deserve in order to nail your exam and be done with it. So our focus is on math. Now, are we going to be just focusing on high school math the whole hour or elementary? No. We've got a mixture here. Now, Amy's going to go through a bunch of problems. You're going to have the opportunity to download those as a PDF. So when Amy starts, just pay attention to the screen. We're going to have a message there for you so you can download the PDF in case we don't get to all the problems or want to practice on your own. She's going to do her best to go across all different grade levels. If you have a question, you feel free to ask Amy your question as well. We're teachers here too, so we can multitask. Our job is to make sure that we give you what you need to be successful. But if you're like, dang it, I didn't have any questions this week, don't worry. We'll be here next Wednesday night as well. So bring those questions with you if you want, and you can ask Amy away. Because here at the Learning Liaisons, we pride ourselves in providing you guys the support you need to pass your exam. So whether you're our Florida teachers here with our FTCE exams, our national exam Praxis peeps, big shout out to you guys out there too, and especially our newcomers to the Learning Liaisons brand, TExES Prep. So whether you're elementary, middle school, and high school, we've got your back. So sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, get ready to learn some math, and stay tuned for the end because I'm going to jump back on to close this out. And I got a special surprise for you guys who really want to get the real deal prep and get everything you need to be successful and practice, clear up that confusion, and pass your certification exam on the next attempt. So, welcome to the Learning Liaisons community. Always remember, it's when you pass, not if you pass. So without further ado, let's turn it over to the reason why you're here, Amy. You with us, Amy? Let's get going.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday night math night. I am so excited to be here with you guys on this Wednesday night. I am trying to pull up my PowerPoint for the night. Like Dr. A said, I am Amy Sink, and I am one of the math specialists here at the Learning Liaisons. And I just love what we get to do here on Wednesday nights, which is help you feel more confident in math. I am telling you right now, the biggest problem that I see that people face is that they just aren't comfortable with the math that they're doing. And so it really is just, yes, there is definitely content that we have to work on. Absolutely. But when we can get that confidence up, it makes a world of difference. So with that said, to make it feel less like, we're sitting here in front of the computer, let me know in the comment box where you're from, what test you're prepping for, and our get to know you question is going to be, do you like the beach or do you like the lake? I totally am a lake girl, even though I've never lived on a lake and I've only been to a lake like 4 or 5 times. I am definitely more of a lake person. I do not like being sandy. I don't like being hot. I don't like being sticky. It's just, I can't stand it. But some people live to be like at the beach, getting hot and sticky and sweaty and sunburned. People live for that. And it's just not me. So which one do you prefer? Do you prefer the lake or do you prefer the beach? I will say I am unable to see my comments right now. So if I don't respond to a question or I don't respond to a comment, I apologize. I promise that as soon as I can see these comments and once I can get in and see them, I will absolutely respond to them. If I can see them today, I will, but if not, I will absolutely respond to them next week. So don't hesitate to leave a comment. It's just if you're used to me going back and forth with you, I am unable to see comments right now. You gotta love technology. So if you don't see a comment, that's okay. Let me know still where you're from and what test you're prepping for, and if you like the beach or the lake. And if you have questions tonight, please don't hesitate to ask. I just don't want you to think that I'm ignoring you if you ask a question and I don't respond. Also in the comment box, let me know what you want to see in the upcoming weeks. Someone last week asked for specifically a slope problem, and so we will definitely go over slope tonight. Someone asked for pre-calc. I have a touch of pre-calc tonight, but we will go over a little bit more of that next week. And somebody asked for like GK in general, and so I definitely have some problems for GK tonight. So again, I'm Amy Sink. Let's go ahead and get started with the first problem. I am trying to pull it up here, and then we will get started. So, like I said, this is just something that we absolutely love doing for you guys. Wednesday math, where is it? I just really don't know where it is. I can't, like, I literally exported it, but it's not like downloading to my iPad. And so I really don't know why that's happening. So, let me know what test you're prepping for. While I get this pulled up for us right now so that we can get started with our first problem. Let's see if it works now. And like Dr. A said, we are here every single Wednesday night. So don't hesitate to hang out with me again next Wednesday as well. Because I would love to see you next week. All right, we're going to go with this, even though it's not working. Let's see if I can do it this way. Yes, we'll do this. All righty. You gotta love technology. It's just, I mean, if it's not my iPad not connecting, it's gotta be something else, right? So thank you for bearing with me and being patient with me. And we will absolutely be on our way here in just 1 minute. Share screen. All righty. Here we go. We're just going to have to do it like this. And until I can get my iPad to connect to the actual document. So we'll just do it like this for now, and then we'll go from there. All right. Problem number 1. The above list of numbers represents the ages of 10 students working together on a school-wide project. If the average age of the group members is 15 years, which of the following is the value of P? Which of the following is the value of P? All right, so the best way for us to solve this problem is going to be to use our understanding of average to be able to solve it. So when we think about an average, we think about it being very mean, like it's going to make us do a lot of work, right? And so we want to use our understanding of average, which is adding all the numbers up and then dividing by the number of data points, right? So by doing that, we can figure out the answer to this problem. And I think I finally figured out how to get this to my iPad, because this is really not beneficial for us at all, right? So I can't write on the screen. So here we go. We're going to do it this way. So I want you to think about an average being adding all of the numbers up and then dividing by the number of numbers. So we're going to add all these numbers up, and then how many students are there? Well, there's 10 students, so I'm going to divide by what? I'm going to divide by 10. The problem is they're not asking me for the average. They're asking me for that missing number. And so I have to do that instead of, I have to figure out what that missing number is instead of the actual average. So let's go ahead and look at this problem. So I'm trying to figure out the missing number instead. So if these are my ages of 10 students working together, I'm going to add 12 plus 18 plus 13 plus 15 plus 17 plus 13 plus P plus 15 plus 18 plus 13 divided by 10. How am I going to figure out P? Well, there's two different ways that I can do that. I can use my answer choices to help me, or I can solve it algebraically. Some of you are like, whoa, the algebra is really kind of confusing for me, so I would rather use the answer choices. Totally capiche, totally fine. I'm an algebra person, so I'm going to solve it algebraically, but then I'm going to show you how to use the answer choices. So I know that the average is 15. So I know if I go through the average process that it all has to equal 15, right? So now I'm going to add all those numbers together on the top. So 12 plus 18 plus 13 plus 15 plus 17 plus 13 plus 15 plus 18 plus 13 equals 134. So I have 134 plus P divided by 10 equals 15, right? Now, the P is like locked in numerator jail. So I have to multiply both sides times 10 to unlock the P from numerator jail, because I'm going to do the opposite of what's being done. So 134 plus P is being divided by 10, so I'm going to multiply both sides by 10 so it cancels out. So 134 plus P equals 150. Subtract 134 from both sides, and I'm going to get P equals 16. So P equals 16. Now, that's the algebra way to solve it. The not algebra way to solve it is to use the answer choices. So let's go ahead and solve this again using the not algebra way. So we're going to duplicate this page, erase all of my notes. And I know that, and there goes my iPad, but that is okay, y'all. That is okay because we're used to this. So we're just going to go ahead and reconnect and go from there. So now what I can do is I can plug in an answer choice into my equation that I just solved and see if the average equals 15, right? So I need the average to equal 15. Let's go ahead and see if we can make that happen. So if you have been around for any bit of time, you know that I always like to start in the middle with like B or C. I'm going to start with B. So I'm going to do 12 plus 18 plus 13 plus 15 plus 17 plus 13 plus, instead of P, I'm going to do plus 15 plus 15 plus 15 plus, I'm going to do all of that. So 12 plus 18 plus 13 plus 15 plus 17 plus 13 plus 15 plus 15 plus 18 plus 13 equals, divided by 10. That equals 14.9. That is not big enough. That equals, I need it to equal 15. It's not big enough. In order for my average to get bigger, I need a bigger number to be plugged in. So now I'm going to test the number 16 and see if that works. 12 plus 18 plus 13 plus 15 plus 17 plus 13 plus 16 plus 15 plus 18 plus 13 divided by 10. Bada bing, bada boom. It equals 15. So I have found my answer. So as you just saw, I can solve this problem algebraically, or I can solve it using my answer choices. Either one is going to give us the right answer. Let's go ahead and solve problem number 2. Now, someone in this group specifically wanted student error analysis with fractions specifically. Now, if this is not the fraction error analysis you were looking for and you were looking for something else, let me know in the comment box. But if this is what you were looking for, I hope this is helpful. A teacher asked students to represent the shaded portion of the whole below. Student A said, the shaded portion of the whole below is 3/10. What is most likely the reason or the student's misconception? A, there is no misconception. The student is correct. B, the student represented the portion of the unshaded rather than the portion of the shaded. C, the student does not understand the difference between the meaning of the numerator and the meaning of the denominator. Or D, the student does not understand that a fraction represents a part of a whole. So, whenever we're doing error analysis, it is really important that we figure out what the actual answer is before we even look at the error analysis. At least that's the way that I like to do it. Because sometimes when we're super stressed, we're not quite thinking 100% clearly because we're super stressed in a testing environment, we think that there might not be a misconception, or we think we know the answer, but we really didn't solve it. So I'm going to look at this and I'm going to figure out, is the shaded portion 3/10? 1, 2, 3 are shaded. That is correct. 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Is the shaded portion 3/10? It is not. So what did this student do incorrectly? Before we look at these answer choices, I'm covering them up, but obviously I'm not covering them up on your screen. What did this student do that was incorrect? The student did not count the number of spots that were open. The student did not, I'm sorry, I misspoke. The student counted the number of shaded pieces and put that on the top. But their denominator almost seems like they tried to count just the white parts, but then didn't even count them correctly. Like it almost seems like they did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then didn't count them correctly. And so they almost like thought that I count the shaded part for the top and the not shaded part for the bottom, and then just didn't count it correctly. But that's not what a fraction represents. So let's take a look at our answer choices and determine the best reason for the student's misconception. Now, you and I both know when we're talking about student misconception and student error, and it says, what is the most likely? Y'all, that means that there could be more than one answer, and we just have to pick the best answer. That's the real problem. Is there could be more than one correct answer, but we have to pick the best answer. I hate these kinds of problems because it means that, like, we don't know this student. We didn't meet this student. So yes, could I justify more than one answer? Maybe, but there's not going to be more than one right answer. So we just have to go with what is best based on math understanding and math pedagogy. So, A, there is no misconception. Well, that's wrong. We know there's a misconception because 3/10 is not the right answer. B, the student represented the portion of the unshaded rather than the portion of the shaded. Well, if they did that, then it would have been like 10/3 if they did it the way they think, or it would have been like 10 or 11 or 9. It would have been, 9/12. If they did unshaded, then it would have been 9/12. So that's not what they did either. The student does not understand the difference between the meaning of the numerator and the meaning of the denominator. Well, that sounds so fancy. Let's keep looking to see which one is going to be the best answer. The student does not understand that a fraction represents a part of a whole. There is our answer. So the student does not understand that I have a part out of a whole. They did a part out of another part, right? They did blue part and yellow part. What they did is really more of a ratio than a fraction, right? So they did part and part instead of part and whole. And so that's a huge foundational misunderstanding of what a fraction really is. So D is going to be the best answer. Is it possible that they didn't understand the meaning of the numerator and the meaning of the denominator? It's possible, but we have to go with what the best answer is based on the one error that we see, and that can be difficult. All righty, let's go ahead and move on to problem number 3. The water level in a pool is 12 feet. Due to a leak, it is receding at a rate of 6 inches per day. What equation represents the water level Y after X days? All right, so they want us to choose an equation that represents this story, the water level Y after X days. Whenever you are trying to translate a story into an equation, this piece is super duper important because it defines the variables for us. And knowing what those variables are supposed to mean is really critical. So the water level in a pool is 12 feet. So if I'm thinking about this as like a graph, what am I starting with? I'm starting with 12 feet. And then due to a leak, it is receding. What does receding mean? Decreasing, going down. The water is disappearing. So my slope is going to have to be negative because the water is going down at a rate of 6 inches per day. Well, there's a problem. They have a rate that doesn't match the units that my original number was given in. So I'm either going to have to transfer the 12 into inches or the 6 into feet. Keep that in mind. So I'm starting at 12, and when I'm looking at a graph, time is usually your X, and then your distance or your feet or your amount is usually your Y-axis, right? So if I'm starting at 12 feet, and then it's decreasing, and I don't do anything about it, eventually I am going to hit no more water. So this value is going to be the amount of time it took for there to be no more water in my tank. So the water level is starting at 12 and then decreasing. I know that Y equals mx plus b is going to be the easiest way to start. So Y equals slope times X plus my Y-intercept. What amount of water am I starting with? I'm starting with 12 feet of water. When I look at my answer choices, I see a 12 in almost every one of my options. And so I'm going to keep the 12. I'm not going to transfer the 12 into inches. but I am going to turn this into feet. So if 1 foot equals 12 inches, then 6 inches equals how many feet? Well, if I'm going this way to get from 12 to 1, I have to divide. 12 divided by 12 equals 1. So I'm going to divide 6 by 12, and 6 divided by 12 is 1/2. So I'm losing 1/2 of a foot of water per day. Am I gaining or am I losing 1/2 a foot of water? I'm losing 1/2 a foot of water, so that's going to be a negative. Now, when I look at my answer choices, I don't see anything that looks like that. So I'm going to manipulate this into something that looks familiar. So I know that I'm not going to multiply the 12 times y, because the 12 is how much I'm starting with. I'm not going to multiply the 12 times the water level that's in my pool. So A and D are automatically out. But let's go ahead and move this over and try to put this in standard form. So add 1/2 to both sides. 1/2 x plus y equals 12. I can't have a 1/2 in front of my x. So I'm looking at this answer thinking, they only have a 1 in front of that x. So what if I multiply this times 2 just to get rid of that fraction? Distribute, I end up with x plus 2y equals 24, and then C is my correct answer. Now, this is an interesting problem because there's a lot of ways we could manipulate it, but we kind of have to play with our answer choices to figure out what the best way to manipulate it is. Now, I have a problem that's very much related to that problem. So it's the same problem, the same water level, the same 12 feet. Due to a leak, we're losing water, blah, 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 blah. But the question is, after how many days will the pool be completely empty? And here's my equation. Well, if they want to know after how many days the pool is going to be empty, I'm going to be looking for an X value. And you're like, whoa, how did you get that? Because when I look at this super important part that we talked about in problem 3A, I notice that it's X days. So if it's X days, I'm looking for some sort of X value if it says after how many days. So I know I'm plugging something in for Y for it to spit out an X. Well, what am I going to put into the water level? 0, because I'm looking for when the pool is empty. So I'm looking for X plus 2 times 0 equals 24. 2 times 0 is 0. X equals 24. I'm done. That's it. That is super simple, isn't it? Now, tonight is a little bit of a shortened session. And so we are, believe it or not, already done. But don't fear. I still have problems about slope. Y'all, I have problems about pre-calc. I have some word problems. So we are going to absolutely get to those next week. Let me know in the comments. I know that I can't see the comments, but let me know in the comment box, and I will absolutely follow up before next week. What do you want to see from me next week? I cannot wait to be back with you next week. I hope that you have an amazing week, and I will see you soon. I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. A to close this out, and I will see you next week. Bye.
All right, so wasn't that an amazing session? Now, I know, depending on what exam you have to take, you're like, man, that was great, but she didn't address everything I needed. She focused on all different questions, and I just need elementary, or I just need middle school, I just need high school. Don't worry. Since you're still with us, I've got a special surprise for you. If you use the coupon code, all capital letters, SINK35, that's SINK 35, that will take off 35% off any of our prep courses on our website at the Learning Liaisons. It doesn't have to just be math. It could be anything that you need that we offer. And this is going to be an ongoing deal for you guys who attend these live sessions, because these are great. I'm sure Amy opened your eyes to some new concepts, some new ways to tackle problems, building that confidence. But this is just a smidget of your exam, the concepts on your test. So if you want the comprehensive view with the practice with Amy, with the practice test, with the lessons and the content review, we've got your back on our video boot camps, which all of them feature Amy Sink, your math specialist. So if you want to take advantage of that, the code is SINK35. You can use that at checkout on the learningliaisons.com website. And all that information is on our website as well, and on the bottom of the screen in this video. So we are here to help you. Once again, always remember, it's when you pass, not if you pass. Thank you for joining us again today, and hopefully we'll see you next week too. Talk to you soon.